Well, folks, Candace Owens didn't waste any time offering herself up as Orangina's back pocket black person, who can attest for him totally not being racist. Which is funny because Orangina would have no use for Candace if she wasn't serving the very useful purpose of boosting his plausible deniability every time he pinches off some stinky racism. Call her a pooper scooper. Candace cleans up his shit. Well, Candace says anyone who's calling Orangina out for showing textbook racism at the Black Journalist Convention is completely wrong. Yeah, that argument is getting harder to sell because by now we know some form of racism always precludes Candace hitting the news. She gets the spotlight when the racists need a cleaner. She's gotten really good at handing white people permission to say, "I'm not racist because I like Candace Owens." But by now nobody ever believes that except the other racists. Well, we all know at the convention interview, Orangina questioned whether Kamala Harris is black. I mean, he didn't really do that because he knows she is. What he was doing was performing for the bottom feeders, which is exactly what Candace is doing too. Orangina is showing the racists that he's still as repulsive as they need him to be so they can recognize themselves in him. And Candace is showing the racists that as long as you consume her content, which ultimately pays her bills, then she's got your racist back. Candace shared a clip of Orangina's interview, and she characterized it as hilarious. She coughed up some shits and giggles and said, "I hate how leftism has turned black people into something that we're not. We know that's funny. We know that is hilarious." I suppose Candace means black people think it's a laugh riot when Orangina disparages a person's race to try to make them look shady or opportunistic. I suppose Candace thinks black people should be required to pass the Orangina test to determine whether they're qualified to be called black. Surely Candace thinks they'd get a kick out of that. I suppose Candace's children and even J.D. Vance's children should have to prove their blackness or Indian heritage to any white guy who comes along. I'll bet Candace and J.D. teach their kids, if white people want to call into question any bit of your identities, well, you should laugh like a bowl full of cherries. Maybe even prolong the joke by implying that all your hard-earned accomplishments were handed to you by DEI advantages. Surely Candace and JD's kids are looking forward to one day having to produce their birth certificates for a white guy who wants to feel superior to them because they're not white, but also wants them not to pass as black or brown so other people can feel superior to them by pretending to be confused by their race. It's a win-win, right, Candace? Everyone gets a chuckle and nobody comes away feeling used or denigrated or gaslit at all. Yay, racism! Thanks for keeping it light. Well, Candace, have the day that you deserve. Yeah.